famous. All right, you ready?
If you are.
All right, here we go. Very serious recap time. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we are live on a Wednesday, ready to do some recapping. Y'all already know what it is.
Yes, sir.
It's everybody's favorite, most fun, all the accolades that y'all say on social media. House of Dragons, Dem Thrones, Dem Dragons, whatever you call it. Recap in the world. This one is probably gonna be long. It was so much.
It was a lot that happened.
It was a lot this week, y'all. It was, woo, my goodness. You know what? With no further ado, let's get the crowns out and play the music. Let us monetize it, YouTube. Don't take too much, not too much. So this episode, it's episode 6. I think there's 10 for the season. So we only got 4 left. Which I'm already looking at the end like, just 10, you know, like it's that good to me. I honestly feel like the game started this week.
Yeah, the game did start this week.
This episode is called The Princess and the Queen. Y'all already know what it is. With the feedback, we prefer if you listen to the feedback to our recap before you write in feedback. So far this week, almost everybody's done that. Appreciate y'all.
Yay!
You know, and then also we appreciate if no predictions, no spoilers. We didn't read the books. We don't know what's coming up.
Nope.
We don't need your little nerdy details and shit. If it matters, it'll come up in the show and we'll be shocked and we'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe we missed that. But you know, be nice. We're gonna be nice back to y'all. But y'all know the groundwork. So Karen, let's start the way we always start. The Princess and the Queen is this episode. What did you think about it in general?
It was good. It was really good. I love the time jump. And I think the time jump actually allowed them to speed it up because since they had a time jump, they didn't have to fuck around with no explanation. They already built the relationships. Like, you know who most of the characters are. You know, you might be introduced to some new characters later on, but, you know, the core group of people is still the core group of people.
Yeah, that time jump, man, we've never seen something that big before. And I guess it's a way to like kind of quash all the like details and stuff. I really, really, really love this episode. That being said, I still was a little let down that we didn't get like a mention of how Sir Kristen killed a motherfucker at the wedding. I mean, we know King's Landing is a ghetto. We know he's in we saw Allison tell him. Yeah, we saw Allison say not to like stop him from killing himself, but he just literally like working in the house like nothing happened. I'm gonna equate it to just like when the police kill an innocent person and they still get to work as police the next day. I'm gonna just equate it as that. I was hoping the show would explain it. Someone told me the podcast for their show explained it. I don't listen to the podcast. I didn't read the books. I think it would have taken 20-30 seconds, not even 20 seconds. It could have been an argument. Like Rhaenyra could have been like, every day you hear with the fucking murderer of Joffrey or something. It's like, I pardoned him or some shit, you know, like just something. And maybe we'll get that later. But I felt like they should have gave us that.
I think we will. And I was right. She just bought that nigga in. It was like, you gonna be my guard.
Yeah, you were right. He's in the Queen's division of the Secret Service.
Yeah, and I was like, I could see her doing that if she wanted to be petty. That's what you do.
Yeah, she's definitely Team Petty. And yeah, you definitely knew that. So
and I was right about something. And something else that I did like, not only did I enjoy the time jump, I really love the older actresses it's like the older actresses look like they just took the child actresses and age up. It's like they actually went and just did like a cut, like a you know how they age up by 50 years, type of thing. And I think they did a real good job. And I think they nailed the older actresses.
Yeah, I think I'm not that partial or I'm not that observant of that kind of stuff necessarily. Nothing stuck me, nothing was jarring to me where I was like completely different. But more importantly for me, I felt like they embodied the characteristics and the attitude.
Yes.
Like Renaria felt like that's what 17-year-old Renaria grows up to be like.
Yes, sir.
You know, apparently she doesn't outgrow some of her more wild shit. And Allison, oh my god, it's like that's like some This Is Us shit where like that actress, it's like when they go doing This Is Us where you feel like, oh, the young Beth is just like the older Beth or whatever. Like, is this her real? Did they get a time machine?
Yes,
Allison felt like that to me.
Yeah, it's like they studied the characters.
Yeah,
really
the
well.
Lenore stuff, we didn't spend enough time with Lenore as a kid to really have like a true characteristic of like, you know, like, oh, this is how he would be. But yeah, I love, I mean, honestly, the diversity budget has to be up because it feels like they got 3 people playing every black character on the show, and I love to see people get money. So shout out to Black capitalism. Let's get into this breakdown. I have it set in 2 segments. Pentos, that's where Damon and his family is.
Okay.
And then King's Landing. King's Landing is gonna be long. Lots of twists and turns, lots of intrigue, lots of details, lots of fucking alliances and backstabbing. We'll do that second.
Okay.
But the first part is Damon and his family.
He done came a family man.
As I like to call this segment, the pursuit of nappiness. Okay. Because that's what it ended up being. All right. So Damon and a very pregnant Lena are both ghost riding the dragons together, playing in the sky, horse playing. She's doing Dracarys and making him fly through it. And he's like, "Oh, you got me." You know, I guess when you have dragons, that's how you play.
They might as well be playing Monopoly.
And last time we saw them, Lena, he like spit some game at Lena during the wedding.
Yes, he did.
She's already promised to somebody, to the prince of the narrow seas.
Yeah, something like that.
Like she was promised. So whatever game he was spitting, she liked it so much. Maybe they ran off together, it seems, because they weren't on the Targaryen, they weren't on the Valerian land anywhere. They obviously couldn't be on Targaryen land. So they weren't in Driftmark. That's where her folks from. We never saw the parents around. So this sounds like in the background. Yeah, in the background. I don't know about elope because it's something worse than elope. Like they ran away together and not just ran away to get married, but like they ain't coming back home until they make some kind of peace, because this shit was not sanctioned. That's how it felt.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I can see that wedding. I can see them doing some form of a flashback, or at least hinting to people's disapproval of their marriage.
Yeah, well, the thing about Game of Thrones, though, if you notice, they don't really do a lot of flashbacks.
Not just no, they don't.
I'm talking about general period. Yeah, they did.
I remember they rarely do flashbacks. They right.
I want to say season 7 was the first time we truly got a flashback, which was like Ned and the birth of John and all that shit. And like they normally don't do flashbacks, so I don't know if we'll get to see what happened, but I'm just picking up from context clues. They're in Pentos. It's not their castle. It's not their land.
Well, maybe not flashback. Somebody might say something.
Yeah. So yeah, normally that's how they do it. Is somebody brings up some shit out of nowhere, like, well, that's why you ran off with your wife, or what? Oh, now you come back with your daughters after you ran away. Like somebody gonna bring it up, hopefully.
Of course.
But yeah, so this nigga Damon and his wife, they flying around. She pregnant, gut full of Damon, and we see a crowd of people like cheering them on as they fly the dragons around. It's like an air show.
Yeah, they're at the Circus Soleil.
Yeah, they're like, oh, ooh, look at that, wow. And so then later on inside, they have a big feast. Damon looks at a waiter, like a servant, like he's whispering something to him or a sense. And I didn't pick up on this as what people are saying, but people now are like, that means he's bisexual. He's sleeping with that waiter. And honest to God, I just feel like this is the same as Rhaenyra and Allison. If the show was gonna do it, I just think they do it.
Right. This is not the type of show that do them subtle hints. They gonna show you.
Like maybe the actor made a choice or something, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, keep that in." But like, if they were gonna be like, "This dude fucks the help and men and women, he don't give a fuck," I just feel like that this show does not shy. They're not like, "Oh God, the audience is gonna flip out." They're like, "No, he gay." Like, if anything, they're like, "Let's show him, literally fucking this guy because we want to go for it over the top."
Correct.
So anyway, I know some people feel that way. I didn't buy it. So they're there at dinner. There's this guy, Prince Reggio Horatius. Reggio? Reggio. Come on, man. Come on with these names, bro.
Starting tight end.
Right.
The Ohio State University.
A man pushed an old lady down a flight of stairs for $4. Guess the race. Reggio Horatius.
I'd have got that wrong. His white ass would have walked out there.
So he's like, man, this feast is so good. This is motherfucking lamb hearts. Okay, did y'all see who put their foot in these lamb hearts?
Because got seasoning.
Okay, like what is this, Lowry's? What you do to this? And Lena's like, girl, wait till you try these patty pies. Okay, you gonna be motherfucking
your life.
You gonna be ready to fight at the end of this shit. And Prince Reggio's like, well, before them patty pies get here, let me give a toast to Aegon the Conqueror, because he joined up with our cause way back in the day when we was fighting against Volantis during the Century of Blood, and he burned a fleet of ships on his dragon and Lys, and it turned the tide of the war, and which is kind of like Damon's reputation right now, because that's what happened with the Triarchy and the crab feeder. Now that's 10 years ago now. But the point is, that's Damon's rep, is like he got on his dragon, he changed the tide of the war. So he's like, speaking of which, I got a business proposition.
I got something to sell you.
This is a timeshare, guys. Okay. So
you're gonna be here for another 2 hours.
How would you like to go on a cruise? Okay, so hear me out.
All expenses paid.
So Lena assumes that his business proposition is he would like to marry one of their young ass daughters.
Right.
And her oldest daughter, Bayla, y'all. Okay, first of all, I forgot to say this up top. There are so many fucking kids now. Guys, the 10-year time jump. I was ready to move into the plot. I was not ready to get introduced to a crop of new kids.
Right, because you would have a lot of kids in the course of 10 years.
So many fucking kids. So many. And at this point, I'm just looking at like, this is why we need to start killing off characters. Because if we're going to be introducing 5, 6, 7, 8 kids in an episode,
everybody ain't gonna.
I'm gonna need some kids to die, some adults to die. We gotta reduce the number of characters.
Oh, they will,
because it's getting out of control. So I like that was hint number one that some people was dying this week. I said, who got time to remember all these kids' names? Like, you know how much fucking research I had to do to go find these little motherfuckers' names and put it in my post and shit.
Unless you like in my immediate family, half of my extended family, I don't know who them little kids is.
And they don't even put like a lot of emphasis on it in the script. Like they don't even say the kid's name most of the time.
They're not that important.
Because they want to write a realistic script. It sounds stupid. It's like when I'm talking to Karen, I very rarely are like, so Karen, as my wife, what do you think? But in the script, they have to do shit like that. So I had to go look this shit up anyway. So she says, oh, I just say you want to marry my daughter, ha ha ha. And her oldest, Bayla, is not with the shits at all.
Right? She was like, a word, like, this is some bullshit.
Right. She was like, Mom, stop, don't even play like that. What you doing?
Come on. She one of them free range kids y'all be talking about, one of them the new generation of kids that speak up.
Now the younger daughter, Raina, she actually looks like, not like, oh, I can't wait, not like I want to marry this man, but she looks like enthralled by the idea of being a princess and marriages and proposals.
She's
and
bought into it.
Yeah. So, but she's a little girl, and they don't give their ages, but pretty much it's in a 10-year jump. These kids didn't exist before. So somewhere probably between 8 years old and 6 or something like that for the 2 daughters. Anyway, So the prince is like, nah, that's not my proposition. Although I'd be honored, but I'm not good enough for your black daughters. Okay. I'm still kind of racist. So he says,
them babies picked up all their mama's melanin.
he says, what I want to do is give y'all permanent residence in Pentos. We're gonna give y'all the land, we're gonna give y'all a vineyard, y'all gonna own the woods, we're gonna gather up taxes and pay y'all tribute. Y'all gonna be the royalty the way y'all expect to be. Y'all gonna be able to run through the city, the harbor, wherever you want. Only thing we want for y'all is y'all take them big ass dragons and help us squash the uprising of the Triarchy. They trying to unite again, and they trying to hook up with Corin Martell of Dorne.
I mean, we know
the Martells,
right?
Okay, the Martells, they about that fighting, they about that action. He said, so we gonna try to hook y'all up. We know Triarchy trying to hook up with them. We gonna try to hook up with y'all so that they won't run up on us. And if we go to war, we want your dragons, and then we just gonna burn them to the ground and win. Lena was not feeling this shit at all.
She was like, I do not like this dragon timeshare. This nigga trying to sell us. My vote is no.
Yeah, she had like her face said everything.
Oh hell no, not today.
Right, and Damon was looking like, hold on, let's hear him out. Okay, they gonna give us castles and shit. Let's not be too hasty. But she's like, look, we just visiting.
Right.
Now, here's the thing I'm asking, because unless something drastic happened that we didn't see, it sounds like they somehow went off together, and these babies are like 8 years old at this point. How long are they visiting?
Yeah, they sound like they've been there for a very long time. They've been there for years.
Is this like an Airbnb situation? It's like a rent-to-own situation, because I feel like your kids are old, and it sounds like they've never been home to Driftmark.
Nope, don't even know where it is on the map.
And it don't seem like one of the relationships where they send they black babies down to the south to hang out with their cousins. It's just them kids only know Pentos.
Come on, you would have to send them out to sea.
But the point being, it's not their home.
Correct.
Right. So they literally, this isn't like Driftmark where they're royalty and there's a legacy and there's all that. They would be setting up shop in Pentos, and Lena don't like that. In her mind, she's like, one day we're going back to Driftmark.
Yeah, my family got to know their family. Like, the fuck is this?
So Damon says, we'll consider your offer, and Lena actually releases his hand. Like, and that's exactly, they're gonna talk about this later moment, So later he's teaching Bayla High Valerian. Now Bayla seems like the more the child that's like, she's a girl, but she more like, I'm in the warriors, I'm in the dragons, I'm in the learning High Valerian and shit, and she seems like she's her daddy's favorite. And so Lena, the mom, comes over, and she's still mad about that dinner conversation, and she tells Bayla, go ahead and go to bed. And then her and Damon end up talking, and Damon says, look, I love this opportunity because we don't have no responsibilities. We ain't got to worry about no scheming for the crown, succession.
It sounds like he's tired.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's like rural life suited him. He had completely chilled out, he was drinking pumpkin spice, wearing Uggs, white woman of color life. Like,
yeah, it was.
He like this. We fly dragons and we eat fucking patty pies. What's the problem?
And also, I think the way he was talking, I was like, oh, he basically has gotten away. It's like somebody who's used to the city and then go out to the country and realize, oh, I like the country.
Right.
And so you can tell, I was like, oh, like all the things that are within him, they're still there, but it's just like, he's like, why put out his effort in the fighting and conning and scheming and power when we can just be here and chill and live a less stressful life?
It's been 10 years.
I ain't got to worry about nobody trying to kill my kids.
It's been 10 years. He's had children. He's been removed from the crown. There's now 2 levels of succession ahead of him. His plot with Rhaenyra didn't work. It just seemed like he's done. But I have to say, as I've been mentioning, Lena's got a gut full of Damon. He got too black babies.
With that silver hair.
Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Rob is right. Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Yeah, Rob is right. Whoop, what was that again? Oh yeah, Rob was right. Rob was right.
I was told he was impotent. Some got it up. Okay, I don't know what I mean. Maybe he got a fetish, but I mean, it sounds like that thing worked at least 3 times. Okay, so I don't think it was an impotency problem, y'all. So he's basically like, listen, this is simple. She's like, but we just basically being like mercenaries. They gonna give us gold and land, and we gonna be the dragon power for their military. He's like, that's what I like about it.
It's a simple transaction.
Right. She's like, man, we are not minstrels or mummers. Minstrels is different when a black person said it, but in this world with no racism, quote unquote, it didn't bother me. But she's like, we're not minstrels or mummers.
She's like, we're royalty, bitch. The fuck is this?
Like, we don't belong there. He was like, now she's a Valerian, meaning she comes from Valeria. Valeria is that city that was destroyed, the one that was that the king has a model of in his bedroom, and he explained it was built on a volcano and the shit erupted and killed everybody and shit. So Damon says Valeria's gone. We don't belong anywhere. And she's like, listen, I want my baby that I have in my belly to be born in Driftmark. I want my daughters to be raised in their homeland with their family according to their birthright, and I want to die a dragon rider's death, not that of a fat country lord. And then he goes back to his High Valerian book and looks at her like, are you finished?
Are we done here?
Right. That's exactly
are
how
we done here?
He didn't care about none of that shit. And then she registered his, whatever, his dismissiveness and left. So then later, the baby girl, Raina, the quote unquote girly girl, right? She puts a dragon egg on the fire, and her mama Lena comes in to talk to her, and like sits down, and she's like, "What, girl? It's been 8 years since that egg was supposed to hatch. It's not gonna happen, and about half the dragon eggs never hatch anyway."
Which I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either. And Raina says, "Well, do you think they're gonna let me stay?" And her mom, Lena's like, "What you mean let you stay?" And she says, "Well, they want you and my dad and my sister, and y'all all got dragons, but I don't have a dragon. So are they gonna let me stay? Because I don't have anything to offer." And she's like, "Yeah, they're gonna let you stay. Also, there's more than one way to bond with a dragon. I didn't bond with one until I was 15. And now I ride Vagar, the largest dragon in the world. So that's something we learned, is that it's not just all bonding in the crib, and it's not all just the training of the dragon keepers and stuff. So there's more than one way to bond with a dragon. Now, we technically kind of knew that because we saw Daenerys bond with 3 of them when she was in the OG Game of Thrones.
And also, it will make sense that her dragon will be much bigger, because her dragon's probably freer, because according to Daenerys, they kept them in them
the dragon keep.
Yeah, the dragon keep, and it caused them to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Oh yeah, I think I saw, like, someone sent me some kind of scale of the dragons. This is like a month ago, but Daenerys's dragon were like the 3 smallest dragons ever, and then all the other dragons are bigger than them, which is crazy because them dragons was a problem. And it's like, those ain't even the biggest ones. It's crazy. Anyway, so she said that Bela, the older sister, her dragon was born to her, but if you wish to be a rider, you must claim your right, and your father would tell you the same. And the baby girl Raina says, but daddy be ignoring me. And her mom says, well, he's doing his best. Now, I do wonder what and why he would be ignoring the youngest, because they don't get into it, but maybe he just likes that idea of like the warrior, the fighter, and the oldest daughter is more like that, but they never really say what it is specifically.
Like I say, it may be that. It may be because she's younger, it might remind him of Rhaenyra. Like, I'm like, you never know when people have all types of hangups as adults that are associated with other things that has nothing to do with the people around them.
Yeah, I mean, I know she don't got a dragon, but I mean, you'd hate to think it was something that fucking simple that Damon was like, oh well.
I don't think it was.
But anyway, later we see Damon outside on the castle walls, and Laena, his wife, comes over to him, and Laenor has written him a letter to say, hey, I just had another son. And then they both kind of chuckle to themselves like, but did you though?
They gave each other a sounded like, oh, word, really?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, for real.
If you say so.
Right.
I am shocked. Well, not that shocked.
And we'll get into why they thought this was so funny, but he brings up like, did he mention if this son actually looks like him? And Laena tries to get him to come back home again. Like, hey, remember what I said earlier? You should go back. We should both go back, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I have no interest in going back. And she's like, that's bullshit, because you don't really like living here. You don't leave the house. You stay inside. You read your fucking Dragon Rider history all day.
Like a grumpy old man.
Yeah, you don't go into town. She said, I know life has disappointed you. And maybe I'm disappointing you as your wife. Like, I'm not the wife you wanted to marry. He tries to tell her, like, girl, don't say that. And she says, it causes me no pain to admit that I wasn't like your first choice or whatever. Which is this is the thing. Laena's attitude is, I think, the attitude people expected all the royalty to have, including Rhaenyra. And I think the reason Rhaenyra's like always a bit out of place is because she won't accept that simple truth. Right? Laena doesn't sound like she cares that it's not a romance, like it's not a match made in heaven. She's like, even if I wasn't your first choice and you weren't mine, it doesn't matter. We're creating this legacy, this royal bloodline. We're creating this house together. That, and she keeps referring back to her royal roots and his royal roots.
Yeah,
like,
because those things matter, and for a lot of them that matters more than anything else. Like, okay, this is great, but we have to keep the legacy alive. We have to keep this thing going, and I'm willing to sacrifice or do whatever it takes to keep this thing alive, because these things actually matter to me beyond the time that I'm here. And also, she sounds like she spent a lot of intimate time with him. So she was like, my nigga, you depressed. Like, I've seen what you like when you're happy, and nigga, this ain't it.
Yeah, and I think her priorities are just different. But her main thing was like, the man I married wasn't like this.
Right.
The Damon I met at the party was full of swagger and talking that
and
shit.
Confidence.
And look at you've like kind of been reduced. So she want that old, she want that dude back. Later, we see that she is giving birth. Now, this is probably not a good sign, because keep in mind, she said she wanted to give birth to this child in Driftmark. So they had either the baby came early, or they still just been stuck in the holding pattern in Pentos, and she hasn't been able to go home. So she says, look, I want she's having this baby, and it's not going well. It's if Game of Thrones, if House of the Dragons has done nothing compared to Game of Thrones, they have shown that childbirth and pregnancy is violence in this era. Yes. It is death. It is literally facing death every time. And it is a way that women fight and compete, but also even in times of peace, they are at war, essentially, with the idea of you need to go out and have these babies. Yeah. Like men aren't on the front lines anymore. There's never a time where the women in these royalty situations aren't always constantly on the front line, because their duty is to have kids, no matter how difficult it is and no matter how risky it is. And you literally can be one child away from death.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things to where she sounded like she wanted to go home because every home has traditions. So it might have been a tradition or things that they did that these doctors wouldn't know and things like that. Like you just never know with things like that.
She already had 2 kids, and I don't know unless they add something to let us know. I assume she had those kids not in Driftmark. So it sounded like, just literally this is the risk everyone takes under. I mean, people take it now, but it's just the risk of childbirth in this era. And unlike, us that aren't royalty or us that's regular people, they can't be like, all right, that's it, 1 kid, I'm closing up the shop or whatever. Or I guess you can be, but it sounds like they feel like the duty is to have as many heirs as possible.
Correct. And also, and it may be just the fact that she was like, look, I did 2 kids, but my desire is to have this child there because that goes back to my birthright.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to be home.
Yeah, absolutely. We agree. I think, like even it wouldn't matter where she had the other kids if she's saying, I want this kid to be born at home. She clearly has an eye on home. Whatever their union has done is not being honored by the families, it seems. But they did not dwell on this or give us many details, and maybe we'll see next week because I feel like this next scene means everybody got to go see each other. So the birth's not going well. The doctor pulls Damon to the side, huddles up. He says, look, we can do the alphabet section like they did on Rhaenyra's mom, but we both know that means she gonna die. And what you want to do, because it's your decision as the man and the king, quote unquote, prince, whatever. And Damon, one, did not look like they didn't give him a chance to truly decide, but it looked like he was not with that.
No, he was not.
And I do very much believe from this episode that he loved her.
Same.
You know what I mean? It didn't feel like some type of weird fetish or something, or some type of, it felt like
fell in love.
This is my family. I love this woman. Even when she was disagreeing, there was like a kindness about him.
He didn't speak to her in the same vicious way that he's spoken to other women. Right.
So there were definitely feelings there. And that could be she was royalty and some semi-related, so he felt like this is his worth or his station, but it don't really matter because I don't know. I put it this way. I don't know that he would have been like, do the ABCD section. And the other part of it is, I didn't understand this, but matter of fact, I'll finish this and then I'll go back to it. So before he can decide, him and the doctor turn around. Lena is gone. And we see in a painstaking scene, she walks all the way out to her dragon, Vagar, I think his name, and orders it to burn her alive with Jacaris, dying a dragon rider's death.
Yeah, because that's what she wanted.
Yeah, like she died a dragon rider's death, and went out on her own terms, and
it took the dragon a while. The dragon looked at her. She looked at the dragon. The dragon was like,
"You sure?"
Right. And the dragon literally looked confused, like, I get what you're saying, but you're my owner. Like, this don't make no sense.
Right. Like that dragon did not want to burn her alive. That was like, it was almost sad because the dragons are so smart in the show compared to other animals. They're not like human level sentient, but they're so smart. And it's so weird, but shout out to the CGI and the animators. They made the dragon like a sympathetic figure, you know?
And also, in my opinion, I think the dragon saw her pain and was like, okay, you actually look like you're
But
really
it was like
hurting.
a torture for the dragon to have to do it.
Yes, it was.
You know? Oh, it's so sad, man. If y'all that never watched the show, I'm sure y'all like, what the fuck are they talking about? But I promise
that
you,
dragon looked like
those of us who do watch the show, it was like asking Old Yeller to put you down.
Right. Instead you put Old Yeller down, right?
You know, and Old Yeller knew, I'm killing you. You know, like, and Damon is running out of the house in the background.
He was like, where you at?
And he's like, Lena, no, or whatever. And the dragon kills her and he's distraught.
You can tell it bothered him.
And so the question then becomes, because like he's running out the house. He knows what this means.
He's running out the house barefooted.
Yeah, he was like,
no shoes on.
He was like, what you doing? Where's the shea butter? And she blew up. So the question then becomes, because I couldn't figure this out. I didn't know if, like, I didn't understand what's happening. Is it that she was gonna die either way?
I think she
no matter how, like, because the baby they couldn't get the baby out. The ABCD section we know is a death sentence for her. Was she gonna die? Period.
I think.
And so she said, "I choose to die by dragon fire."
I think she did. I think she probably overheard their conversation and was like, "There's no way they're going to get the baby out." Some of the baby was breached, and she probably had been in labor for hours, and she was like, "This is a lot. I'm in a lot of pain. We've been doing this." And I could see her just being tired. Like, okay.
Yeah. I said, I wasn't even asking for like an explanation. I just didn't know. And I accept that I don't know, and y'all are telling me right now. So yeah,
I mean, not unless they emphasize something.
No, it makes total sense. No, I'm not. This is not me being like, no, I'm second guessing you. I didn't know, and I was saving it for the show to ask. I didn't want to ask Twitter, because if you ask someone on Twitter, it's not just they can say yes or no, is they didn't spoil shit. And
correct.
And like, because I asked a question about like, I think it wasn't even a question. I was like, I hope tonight they explain why Sir Kristen is still working in the castle, and all these motherfuckers just spoiler. I was like, oh, delete my tweet. I didn't like.
Right.
I forgot that this is a place you can't even like muse about the show, because y'all really push your glasses up and go, I know this one, and I don't want to know. I want the show to show me.
Right.
I was just talking about what I would like to see tonight. But anyway, so she like went out and died by dragonfire, and then the last time we see, and it'll come up in the King's Landing story too, but we see Daemon standing up there where he was on the castle wall earlier with her, except now he's with his daughters, and he's looking at a YouTube video of how to do black hair. And
right. What is grease?
Yeah, he's looking at a YouTube tutorial, like how to braid.
What is a silk press?
Yeah, this so it was
how to do braids.
So that's where we leave off in Pentos, and sad, tragic, all that stuff. But two positive things came out of this. Number one, Daemon became my sympathetic favorite. Okay,
I can see that.
Now the pursuit of nappiness. This man is raising two black daughters in this.
He's a single parent.
World. He's a single parent. I don't know what he's gonna have to do. It's Idris Elba in that Tyler Perry movie. I'm rooting for Daemon. The second reason I'm rooting for him is because up until this point, I thought this nigga was racist. Okay, we saw his bronze bitch, and I said, "Oh, here we go. She not even that black, so I know he racist. Because if he thinks she a bronze bitch, and this woman look a little spicy white, like just salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic."
Yeah, and I think his first wife was forced upon him. This one he chose.
But he called her a bronze bitch, and in my mind, I said that sound racist. So he talking about her skin being too dark, and then we see the woman. She look like she look like Hilaria Baldwin, like she not even Spanish. She just pretend to be Spanish. I said this nigga racist as fuck.
You know it, and I didn't even think that. I thought he was calling her a bronze bitch. Because you know bronze, like hard, how your balls is hard. You know how you talking about have bronze balls. Maybe like I said, boy, my mind tick.
Okay, well you're a good person that don't see race or some shit, but for me, this nigga called her that shit 2-3 times. Somebody told me on Twitter this about her armor or something. I don't know. I couldn't tell.
I don't know.
All I know is this nigga, he was a little too free with it, and he called her ugly, and she wasn't ugly either, which is another reason I was like, see, this nigga just racist. You know, it's like how racist people would be like, oh, I'm gonna get some exotic porn, and it's just like regular black porn. You're like, that's nothing exotic about that at all.
No, it's not.
You just racist. Anyway, so he scored big time with me because he married a whole black woman and was proud and was loving on her, and then he now he got to raise these kids all by himself. So I'm rooting for this man. Okay, whatever he need to do, get on the throne. I don't care. So shout out to Daemon. He's not my MVP though. He's not the dude who had the biggest week, but he was good. Okay,
he was.
Now let's get to King's Landing, where the mess went down. Oh my god,
it started off and ended with just mess.
Yeah, the mess just, oh my god.
Fucker, do your ghetto antics know no bounds?
Oh, this shit was so trailer park. So we start with a huge time jump.
Mm-hmm.
Rhaenyra's giving birth and sweating. Like, once again, this show and birth is just,
They show you how horrific it is.
they might as well play the Rocky music before all these fucking birth scenes, because it's just like you gotta give your all. You going 12 rounds. So she's giving birth and sweating in the chambers, and she got all these handmaids and midwives and shit, and they walk her through it, and the baby comes out, and this baby is whiter than Tucker Carlson's audience, y'all. Is this baby
has no melanin.
This baby ran up on the Capitol. Okay, it need and now look, I heard, I've never seen birth, but I've heard that even black babies, they come out and they need some time to bake. You know what I mean? Like,
they do. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've been around
had,
babies.
I've had cousins and they came out.
Yeah.
And they were bright as snow.
Right. And so it could just be that, hey, needs some time to bake or whatever. Them babies was looking very insurrection babies. You know what I mean? So Rhaenyra is told by one of the handmaids or whatever that comes in, like, so the queen wants to see the baby.
She looking like, bitch, what? I just gave birth.
First of all, walk your ass over here then. The queen don't got legs. It's my fucking baby. I'm the heir to the goddamn throne. What is this? What is this? What are we doing? So the queen wants to see the baby. And it's some petty shit, because Rhaenyra's like, fuck it. Don't take my baby over there. I'll go my damn self. I'm like, oh, damn. Rhaenyra really about to walk over there? She ain't even had time to fucking get the afterbirth out.
And she stands up and they was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, they gave her, like, they put her dress on her, but she's clearly in extreme pain. There's no, I mean, this ain't the hospital. There's no wrapping paper, gauze, and nothing. So she's walking, and then Laenor comes over smelling all dicky and shit and says, oh, I heard you had a boy. Well done. Wait, where are you going? She's like, the queen wants to see the baby. And he's like, and you gonna go over there? Let me do it then. She's like, nope. I'm gonna prove I got something to prove. I'm going over there with the baby. That's what she wants to see. That's what's gonna happen. He's like, well, I'm gonna go with you. I'll carry the baby. She's like, no, you won't. He was like, well, let me just at least hold you up, hold your arm. You could barely walk. And he asked her, is it terribly painful? And her face looked like, shut the fuck up. And yes,
I mean, because her hair was unkempt. I mean, she sweat is literally still rolling down her face. Yeah, she literally just smelling like afterbirth.
It's a baby, and she had it. Of course, it's painful, But he tries to compare it to, like, well, speaking of pain, one time I got stabbed in the shoulder with a lance during battle, and she was like, what? And he's like, oh, I mean, it's nothing compared to, I still wouldn't want to be a woman and have a baby. He's just trying to make conversation, but he's bombing. And they get to the stairs. She struggles up the stairs, and she pauses for so long. I don't know if the afterbirth came out. I don't know.
No, it did earlier.
Okay, so I don't know what the fuck that was then.
Just pain. I mean, because
but like, there's like an audible sound. I went back and listened. There's like a splash or something. So I don't know if she was bleeding again. I don't know what happened. Yeah. I just know at that moment it was like, oh my fucking God. And like, keep in mind, they're not showing you anything. You just can see that through the acting and the sound effects and their faces, that something, oh my God, it was so bad. And also I went back and rewound these segments, right, to watch for the show. There's no trace of blood on the ground behind her when she's coming up the stairs.
Not when she's coming, no.
I looked. So, and now maybe they forgot and they fucked up, but whatever happened just seemed extremely painful, and maybe it was that's just how bad it hurt, right? So he's like, let's just turn around, fuck this bitch. And she's like, nope, she want to see the baby, she gonna see the baby. And so they go all the way up the stairs. Sir Kristen and another dude are guarding the queen's chambers. They open up the door, they come in with the baby, and Allison looking out the window trying to act surprised, like, oh, Ray, I didn't think you would come up here, because she thought someone would just bring the baby to her,
right,
so she could review the baby and shit. And Allison like, I'm not letting you be alone with my baby, bitch. So there you go. And so she sits down, and they're like, get her a pillow. She's like, I'm fine. They're like, girl, you know you need to sit down. So she sits down. She can only sit on like her hip.
Of course,
Yes. And then the king comes in, and he really did look like Dan Aykroyd in Nothing But Trouble, or I think that's the name of it.
He looked like the thing from the Tales of the Crypt.
Yes. I was waiting on like All Around the World Same Song to play. Like, so then the king is like, oh yeah, another baby. Look at this beautiful baby. What's the baby's name? And Laenor says the baby's name is Joffrey. And we all know Joffrey was his side piece. That was the dude that got killed, his gay lover that got killed at the wedding.
Oh, he out here doing the Adam Levine?
He pulled a Adam Levine. I couldn't believe it. Y'all. I said, I know this nigga did not name the baby after his motherfucking dead side piece. And he didn't consult with her because Ray looked surprised. Like Rhaenyra looked like, what, nigga? The baby's name is what now? And I think it was either Alicent or the king that was like, oh, that's a peculiar name for a Targaryen or something. Like, just like we've never named. Everybody else's name is A.E. something. Damon, Aemon, Rhaenyra, Rhaenys.
And she would be the only one that would know that.
Yeah, right. or you do the Viserys, the Viserion and shit. This nigga went completely off the board. Joffrey. And no, I final answer. You know, I would not like to call a friend. So the king is like, oh, he does. Because Alicent's like, that baby don't even look like him, really. And then the king's like, he does have his father's nose. But I'm like, he might have a father's nose. But that ain't Laenor's nose. That ain't that boy, that baby. That ain't his baby. It was a bit too on the nose, if you know what I'm saying.
Like that baby ain't got no color.
So then,
because you know, I see enough babies to know, you know, when they mix, they had them wide noses, something to let you know there's some color in there.
So then the king congratulates Rhaenyra, and there's like a genuine affection there, you know. And then Alicent tells Laenor, keep trying for a child, and maybe eventually get one that actually looks like you.
I was like, God damn.
Woo! She brought the motherfucking. I said, oh my goodness, she is in the building.
Okay, now back to the steak in the table.
And the way this sounds like this has been going on for a long time, because I think, like I said, when Alicent put on that green and she was like, stepdaughter, it was over.
That was 10 years ago.
It was like no more love. And ever since then, it's been fuck you, bitch.
Right. So here's the thing. They going back to the chambers, you know, Ray and Laenor. She's mad because he named the baby without telling her. And she says, you do not think to consult me before naming our child? And he's like, he's our child, is he not? And she said, only one of us is bleeding. And he said, I deserve some say in the affairs of our family. She said, you haven't seemed so interested in our affairs as of late. And as he turns around, he sees she's left a trail of blood behind her, walking back to the I don't know who's gonna have to clean all this up, but
yeah, somebody is. And it's, you know, also it might be one of those things to where you know, even with the afterbirth, you know, this is old school, so all of it might not have came out at that time. Like, you just never know with this shit.
I don't know. It's just like it smelled crazy up in there, and like,
ooh, you know, it smells.
Somebody gonna have to get the mop. I think the point they wanted to show is how much Rhaenyra wanted. Like, everyone's acting like the petty is on one side, but Rhaenyra is still team petty as well. It was like,
yeah, she could have just gave somebody the baby
at all costs, whatever pain, whatever spectacle you want. It's beef. I'm never letting you be alone with my kid. And bitch, you want to see me? You gonna have to. I'm gonna bleed all over the hall to prove a point.
Right.
So then, they arrive back in Rhaenyra's chambers, and we see there's 2 raven-haired boys in there. So in addition to this is her third baby. And now it's starting to make sense why everybody was talking all that shit earlier. Yeah, because none of these babies look like Laenor.
Because the first set, Damien and his wife, All them babies had silver hair.
All them little black babies look like they had the Valerian hair. They had the brown skin.
Mm-hmm.
These babies was just
Look
salt
like-
and pepper to taste.
Look like commoners.
These babies look white, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like
These babies look like their parents voted for Trump.
yeah, these babies came with like a set of khakis as soon as they were born. They like
These babies was on Gerber commercials.
yeah, like well, there's black Gerber babies, but these babies was white. Like they was regular white, nothing special about them. And so when you see the older two who look about to be like maybe 10 and 5 or so, I'm bad with baby ages, but they look young, 10-ish, a little younger than 10. And so this is now her third baby, and that's why they was talking shit. That's why Viserys must be in complete denial. Like, oh, he has your nose. Well, nigga, these two white boys are just white. They don't got nobody's nose, you know. So they ended up they were also in there with Ser Harwin Breakbacks. Now, last time we saw Ser Harwin, he was picking up Rhaenyra by the shoulder, pulling her away from the crowd during the fight at the wedding. Mm-hmm. So and we knew that her and Kristen were definitely over, but this motherfucker Rhaenyra apparently got a thing for fucking the help. Like she love a subordinate.
That's her jam, ain't it?
Okay, she is, and let them shoot the club up and everything. She don't give a fuck. Okay, it's hot girl summer every summer for her. And so he looks conspicuously like them kids, like Ser Harwin Breakbone and them kids. They so then you see the resemblance, and you realize how fucking blatant she must have been all these years, passing them kids off. Compare Damon looking kids to these kids.
Right. Don't even had the trait.
The audacity of Rhaenyra. She's not a smart person, and I hate to say that. I really do, because I was rooting for her to get some cleverness in the like. I was hoping that by the time we saw her now, that who she was at 17, we'd be like, oh yeah, but that's when you were 17.
No, she didn't.
But now at her big age, this is a wild level of recklessness.
Yeah, she hadn't matured at all,
which is crazy.
Seemed like Damien matured more than she did.
This is crazy. I don't know what she's thinking. But anyway, so yeah, so them ain't Laenor's kids. And so then Laenor, which is so weird, Laenor, I don't think Laenor cares. Like he I'm gay. I knew the deal coming in. This nigga killed the love of my life. I'm gonna still be out in these streets. Fuck it. I'm good. And so he literally hands Joffrey to Ser Harwin. Now the kids don't seem to know Ser Harwin is their daddy. So they all have to do this through this coded language of like, may I hold the prince, sir? And it's like, oh, of course, yes, hold him. And he should get to know the captain of the Night's Watch, right? We should all
wink, wink.
You know,
that's your job title,
right? And I, his real father, will leave you to it, sir, with my real lady wife. Like it's very like put upon.
A lot of acting.
Yeah, but clearly, like what's happening is like this. Ser Harwin is Ser Harwin Breakbacks, because he has been breaking off Rhaenyra's back every chance he gets, and then Laenor is just taking the credit for like, these my kids. I'm gonna raise them like different strokes or whatever the fuck. These my kids, but then at the same time, I'm not planning on having no sex with this woman.
He was like, that's not my type.
Yeah, so he ends up saying, oh, you know what? I need to take the kids to the dragon pit. So come with me, my two oldest kids, and we'll leave the king of the Night's Watch, or we'll leave the leader of the Night's Watch with your mom and this new baby to bond. You know how people do all the time. And so they leave, and there's a bunch of knowing glances. And so Harwin jokes about the baby, like, you're sleeping in front of the commander of the Night Watch. And Rhaenyra says, insolence runs in the family, I'm afraid. And it's like, ha ha, we're having bastard babies. We're so hilarious. Look at us. Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So then in the dragon pit, it's the kids and the dragon keepers. Lenore is not down there. He probably off, listening to Renaissance. So in the dragon pit, they're getting Ray's oldest kid, Jaceres, who they call Jace. Black names. Jaceres, who is getting his dragon Vermax and teaching it tricks. He's like, heal, that kind of thing. Flip, play dead, or whatever. And so they're teaching him all this, like, this is how you gotta say it. You gotta, and he's like a little timid, a little scared, and they're like, no, you gotta say it with some bass in your voice, and you got to tell him, like, no,
you in control.
Sit, king, whatever. And so they bring in a live sheep to feed the dragon, and the dragon like, sheep time. He's like, no, you gotta tell it to chill out. You gotta tell it not to do shit until you tell it to eat. And then finally they're like, all right, tell it to eat. And he's like, Dracarys and Vermax, and then Vermax lights the sheep on fire and starts eating shit. Which dragons, they don't like to eat raw. Okay. And
everything well done.
Right. The dragon keeper is like, listen, once it's fully bonded to you, it will refuse to take instruction from anyone else. Just a pit bull with wings. It'll do whatever the master wants, but anybody else up in this motherfucker's lunch meat. And so the kids that are down there, let's talk about these kids, y'all. So many fucking kids.
So many kids.
These names. Okay. So first, y'all do remember Aegon, right? You remember Aegon. Aegon is the baby that we've been seeing, but we had a 10-year time jump. So now he's like 13 or something.
Yeah, this is the oldest out of the group.
He's the oldest, and he looks like a problem. He look weird. Okay. He looks inbredish, even though he's not an inbred one. He just kind of looks like a douche. He looks like a bully in every 80s movie, So you got him, Aegon. Then you got Helena, who is the daughter of Alicent and Viserys. She looks very much like Rhaenyra. Like when Rhae was that age, they favor. Then you have Aemon, who's the youngest child between Alicent and Viserys. Aemon is like a really weird looking baby. Like these kids, first of all, the boys are so pale.
Like they ain't seen nobody's outside.
Just pale and frail looking, just the kind of kids that create 4chan accounts. Like they just look like they troll Leslie Jones when Ghostbusters movie came out. Like that's how they look to me. And then we have the raven-haired kids of Rhaenyra and Lenore in quotes, but really Ser Harwin Breakbacks, right? So those kids have darker hair. They're a little bit younger than the other two boys, and their names are Jaceres and Lucerys, and they go by Jason Luke. Okay, so
yeah, and that's why when that nigga was talking about Joffrey, everybody was like, "What?"
Right? Yeah. There's no AE, nothing, no Cerys, no. Anyway, and then So and we already talked about Damon's kids. So anyway, in this dragon pit, it's all the boys. Okay, they're down there messing around with the dragons. Aemon is the youngest of Alicent and Viserys's kids, and he ain't got a dragon. Okay, so while he watching all this dragon training, it's like, I ain't even got no dragon. Why the fuck am I down here? And they're like, actually, you do got a dragon. And it's Aegon's idea to pick on him. He starts this prank. Like, we got a dragon for you. And Aemon is like, oh, words? Dragon? Okay, that's what's up. And they're like, yeah, come this way. And they go down into like a chamber and come out. And it's a pig that they done tape some fake wings to. And they call it the pink dread. And then they laugh at him like, you ain't got no dragon. You ain't got no dragon. And he's sad. He's very upset by this. Like,
right, just being mean.
Yeah, it reminds me when John had the baby direwolf, and all the other Stark sons had them big ass direwolves, and they gave him that runt. So then Aemon goes down into the dragon pit after everybody done ran off after picking on him. He eventually makes it down to a chamber with a big ass dragon in it. I don't know which dragon this was.
Me either. I was like, that nigga just, nobody know that dragon down there. He just chilling.
And that dragon ended up blowing a bunch of flames at the ceiling as Aemon looks very stupid, falls on the ground and runs away.
Yeah, he ain't had no business down there.
Yeah. And so up in the keep, Alicent is in her room talking to her daughter, Helena, who loves bugs. Got a big ass box of bugs she collected. They're dead. She playing with a millipede, which it made me think about this. Centipede, we call them that because they got 100 legs, supposedly. Millipede, somebody just got lazy. Somebody's like, I'm not counting all that shit because it's not a million.
And no, it's not.
Centa means 100.
Right.
Millipede was just somebody going, I don't know, a million? Like, anyway.
It's not a million. Nope.
Yeah, it's just funny that I don't know. They didn't even go to 1,000. They're just like, yeah, millipede, man. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a million millions. I don't know. Maybe milli means a 1,000 in Latin.
It might mean, yeah. That's probably what it means.
Like, why is it? Because it's still not even 1,000, by the way. It's like 200 instead of 100, and they're just like, that's whatever. All these niggas is a million.
It's close enough.
So anyway, she's counting it, and she's very nerdy about these bugs. She's like talking to her mama. It has 60 rings. That's one pair of legs for each ring. 240 legs or some shit.
She one of them smart kids.
Like she's like, it has eyes, but I don't think it can see. Her mom like, how you know it can't see? She's like, oh, I don't understand why it can't see.
But she looking like, you give me a microscope, I found that for you.
Right, yeah. She won't be a scientist. And then Aemon comes in covered in soot. And the guard has him, and he's like, he did it again. And she was like, this nigga went down to the dragon pit and fuck with that dragon again.
Oh, so this sounds like some shit he does all the time.
He do it all the time.
Because he just want a dragon.
And I see how Alicent is the way she is. But Alicent also got some badass kids.
Yeah, she does.
She got some badass kids, man. Like, your kids are not, they fucking with dragons, they fucking with these pigs and shit. We'll get to the worst offender in the next scene, but my God, you got some badass kids. So this time, he's like, it's not my fault this time. I went down there because they made me go. And she's like, how they make you go? It's like they teased me. They said you ain't got no dragon, and then they put some wings on a pig, and so I had to go down there and see the dragon again. Meanwhile, Helena ain't even looked up. She don't give a fuck about this. She's still talking to the bug.
All right, I don't know what this nigga talking about.
She's like, last ring has no legs at all. He'll have to close in the eye. I'm like, what is she talking about?
She's like, I don't care what y'all talking about over
she's
there.
She's making the bugs kiss. She don't care. She's a weird bug girl. So then Alicent runs to snitch to the goddamn king. And she's like, Viserys, you ain't gonna believe what your grandchildren did to my baby. And he's like, bitch, can't you see I'm playing with model trains? Me and my assistants in here painting out the town.
Right. I've been building this shit for 10 years. This shit is like quadruple the size.
My post box office, my replica post box just got here.
All right.
Today. I'm supposed to just be painting it and then installing it. And you want to talk about these fucking kids?
I've been building my Lego set. This is my zillion piece Lego set. Get
Right.
out of here.
And she's like, well, they picked on our son. And he's like, girl, you know that boy's stupid. How you? Like, why you even think they had an extra dragon? It's just extra dragons in this motherfucker now. We just got unclaimed dragons roaming the countryside. That don't even make fucking sense. He should have known they was fucking with him.
Oh, so do they not know that dragon's down there or something?
It's not that. It's just they made it sound like we got a dragon for you,
okay.
the same way that the other
I'm
boy
with
had
you.
a dragon.
Right, and they was
But
like,
where the fuck would they find another baby dragon that hatched that nobody knew about?
correct.
So it was like, he's stupid.
It was like, it's people's whole job to monitor that place.
Yeah,
No.
the king is like, you know that boy stupid, girl. Stop trying to blame everybody else. Allison is like, it's Rhaenyra and her bad kids, but I ain't surprised they unruly because you know what it is. Meanwhile, we know for a fact that her son is equally at fault. He started the prank and kept it going. And so,
yeah, and the king looked at her like, you know what you're implying is a problem. Like, you sure? He looked at her like, you sure you want to go there? Because if you go there, you know it's gonna be a problem.
well, he put it even better. He said, how you know Aegon ain't put him up to it? Meaning his older brother, Aemon's older brother, which is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So he did know, but she's in such fucking denial. Thinks her kids are the fucking God's gift because they have to be in order to, for her to usurp this birthright. She's like, it's a wonder. Under her breath, she goes, it's a wonder that eggs even hatched, which is a way of saying they don't have the royal blood of which, first of all, Rhaenyra is a Targaryen.
Right.
Period. Wouldn't matter if she fucked the wait staff. It wouldn't matter if she fucked whatever comes out of her is a Targaryen, and therefore in line to have dragon riding abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, her saying this is her way of hinting around the bush very unsubtly that them babies ain't got no Valerian blood in them because they're also dragon riders. So it's that them ain't even Laenor kids. I'm surprised the fucking dragon eggs even hatched. And Viserys now I gotta give it to Viserys. He was really good at acting stupid this week.
Mm-hmm.
He heard what that girl said, and he was like, "Girl, what you talking about?" And she was like, and then he told Eddard, who was helping him put together the latest set of trains. He was like, "Hey, you gotta get out for a second. She want to talk to me." And he said, "All right, then." And Allison's like, "And them babies bastards. Come on, buddy." And I'm gonna be honest, I was disappointed in Allison. Not for the reasons y'all think. Y'all been waiting to hate this woman for the whole time. I was disappointed because you didn't learn shit from your daddy.
Mm-mm.
This man don't want to hear the truth.
Mm-mm. She not as. You need to be meticulous, pick and choose what you say and when you say it.
He don't care.
Mm-mm. You have to understand he doesn't care.
He love his daughter so much he'll fight on that lie. He fucking he exiled your daddy because he was like, I can't live in a place where you say and know the truth, and I know, and I didn't do nothing about it. So you got to go. I'm still not gonna do nothing about it, but now it'll be one less person looking at me that know I didn't do shit.
Right, and it's also one of those things to where the whole time people was kind of pressuring Otto, and he was like, the nigga don't care. Like that's why he was like, he does not care. Why am I pouring this much effort into something that he doesn't even care about?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Because you remember the people like his family and people was like, yeah, go ahead and make your grandson the heir.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, the king don't care nothing about that.
Oh no, well, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm talking about specifically Rhaenyra having the whole Rhaenyra and Daemon in the sex club. It was like, you had this truth, you thought it would be worthwhile to tell him, and the lesson, Allison was in that fucking room. The lesson Allison should have learned is there's nothing his daughter can do that this man will not excuse.
Right.
And instead, here she is 10 years later talking about, look at these fucking kids. These kids are not fucking Valerians.
And it also shows her immaturity too. It's like neither one of them, they grew up in age, but neither one of them grew up in maturity.
Well, I don't care that she can't let it go.
Right.
Because I think she has actually a better motivation than Rhaenyra does to be what people consider to be petty, because she really does truly believe that once Rhaenyra takes that throne, she is literally going to kill her and her kids. So her dad told her she had two options: either prepare Aegon to rule or cleave to Rhaenyra basically, and pray for mercy.
No, what I'm talking about as far as maturity, I'm like, you didn't learn anything. Like you didn't learn any tactics, any skills.
Oh yeah, okay. It just
like from that perspective.
Yeah, that's that, and well, to me, it's even worse. She used to seem to know better.
Right.
She actually wasn't this petty before. She was the one that, when she had opportunities to be petty towards Rhaenyra, she'd be like, no, this is how this thing can work with all of us. And she kept fucking doing that to the point where she even picked Rhaenyra's side over her own father, to the point where, you know, she was still making it like she was shocked that she was lied to last week because she literally put everything on the line for that girl. But the point being, how did you not learn the biggest lesson? Your daddy ain't here because he couldn't keep shit to himself.
Yeah, to the chest.
Like you have some knowledge that either he don't want to recognize or that he don't know.
Yeah,
but overplaying your hand, what's the point?
Yeah, and it's like she quote unquote want to play the game with Rhaenyra, but she don't actually know how to play.
Yeah, it's well, we'll find out about not knowing how to play. But I just think, like I said, I was disappointed. There was no subterfuge. There was no level of thought. It was just very much a like, Danny, she hit me type of logic, and I didn't like it. So Viserys brings up, I owned a horse, and the horse was brown, but then the horse was silver, but it had a baby, and the baby was brown. So that what I'm trying to say is maybe all these babies that look white, it's just genetics.
Yeah,
who knows?
Generic skips.
God just, God just does what he does.
But everybody else got fucking white hair. This doesn't make sense. Like most of our children have white hair. Like you might have,
all their children have white hair.
Okay, all their children have white hair. Okay, so
it doesn't.
It's a dominant trait. So
yeah.
Okay.
And now she's and the other kids have. So you either have the blonde hair or the white hair. These kids have black hair that Rhaenyra's popping out. Now that says something about her dumb ass, but the fact that Allison presenting this information like he don't know, and he told her don't bring it up again before, she brought it up anyway. So because she just cannot take the insult that this girl is not doing her duty. And I do think deep down it seems to be about this, in this, at least in the context of this show. I laid up under this old crypt keeper ass nigga. I had the babies with this man like I was told to do. And yet this other girl that I thought we was road dogs, I thought we was down in this together, she's just out here doing whatever the fuck she want to do.
Right.
And she getting the same treatment that I'm getting, and if not better, because she will be the heir. And I don't like that shit. I played the game the right way, and if the
I did
rules,
everything y'all told me to do, right?
Yeah, if the rules aren't gonna work for me,
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
So that's why I think she really is mad. Like,
I can see that.
She didn't have her dalliances and do things out of selfishness and stuff like that. And so now she's resentful.
She was like, look, I didn't even get to have my whole phase.
Right. And then of course we have the fact that everything in this world has the death penalty. So there's no like there's no like way to be like, I was slightly disappointed. And if anyone finds out, they're gonna kill you. And they're gonna kill your kids, and they're gonna kill me. And so like Rhaenyra does put the realm in danger with the way she acts. A lot of people who watch the show don't seem to grasp that part of it, but Rhaenyra moves in a way that puts people in danger because she don't really give a
reckless.
Fuck. Anyway, so she's like, and did you see when the silver stallion fucked the other horse? And he's like, girl, listen, do you understand what your allegations could mean?
Right.
And the consequences? Don't bring this shit up no more. And Allison brings up the shit some more. But this time there's Sir Kristen, who is now her Secret Service and apparently her confidant, because they walking down the hall and talking too loud.
Ain't they talking loud? Like people just ain't chilling around corners.
Right. And her conversation was basically, and then this motherfucker said it had that kind of energy. Like, right. And then I said, and then he said, and I said, bitch, no, you didn't. Like,
can you believe this?
Right. And so Kristen was co-signing like shit too. She's like, am I crazy? Is everybody tripping? They trying to make me seem like the kids ain't bastards. These niggas sleeping on this bitch. Okay. They got me fucked up. Everybody's a nap time out here. And he was like, sometimes seems so, Your Grace. And then they paused because like a servant walked by. And like, oh, they don't supposed to know he's talking shit. But they was talking so loud. As soon as the servant walked by, they started talking loud. I said, everybody know y'all talking that shit.
Right.
which made me realize this is like a not well kept secret. Like everybody think them babies is not Lenore's.
Right.
So then she was like, she playing in our faces like I'm Boo Boo the fool. And then her damn daddy, and then Sir Kristen was like, he know. And she was like, he do know, he know. He be making them excuses. And then he was like, you know what? The Queen Rhaenyra, she's a brazen and relentless, a spider who stings and sucks her prey dry. A spoiled cunt. And then it's like the record like the record scratch. It was like, and Queen Alicent stopped walking and looked at him. And because you know, white women don't like when you say cunt. They don't play that. That's a top 5 white cuss word. And so they had to pause, and she realized, like, oh, we might not be on the same team. I would never call her a cunt. What do you call me when I'm not around? And he was like, that was beneath me, Your Grace. I apologize. But because she hates Rhaenyra so much, she's like, I'm gonna let it slide this one time.
But watch your language.
Yeah. She's like, I have to believe that in the end, honor and decency will prevail. We need to hew to that and to each other. And I'm gonna be real. I prefer this version of both of them. This is more interesting than what we got the first 5 episodes. These two evil motherfuckers need to start a podcast together. I would listen to them do the news of the realm and talk about their enemies and how much they hate Rhaenyra and how everything she do is wrong. They are team petty. They stay on petty. Let's go. Now we got a Game of Thrones. Before this, it was a little too, no, they weren't in the mix. 10 years later, apparently they combined like Voltron. She getting her coven together. They getting their evil team of bad guys together. It's time to start the murders. Let's go.
Let's go.
So yeah, I love this. The first half of the show was preseason. We in the season now. I don't like nobody no more. This is peak Game of Thrones. When you look at everybody on your screen and you go, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. That's the feeling I wanted. And now we got it. So yeah, we now here's the part when I like of all the disrespect I had for Alicent this week. This is the biggest one. We cut to Aegon in his room, standing in the window, looking at the sun, jacking off.
Just butt booty
naked. Now I swear to God, I don't know what could have been happening.
I don't know either. People just walking around, looking up, just watching this dude jerk off.
Yeah, he just up in the tower, jacking out the window.
Apparently so.
Like just it. I don't know what. Look, I mean,
like, all skeet motherfucker, all skeet goddamn.
Yeah, from the window to the wall for real.
Apparently so.
I don't understand what was going on with this church session. Like, it's not like they showed out the window. It was like, oh, he was looking at some titties from across the way. He just was like, oh, the sun is up. And he wasn't just jacking it, y'all. He was jacking with the vigorousness. Okay.
This sounds like some shit he does every morning when he wakes up.
Yeah, like it didn't even seem like for pleasure. It just seemed like to get the evil out. This man was jacking so hard. I don't understand what could have been happening.
I mean, it's not like, they take baths. Don't sound like it's showers, but you walking around and shit dropping on your head. Like, who the fuck wants that?
The amount of intensity this man was jacking out, this boy was jacking out with, I honestly, it was more uncomfortable than the birth scene. I was like, oh God, no. And then his mom walks in the room, and this is where Alicent like I said, this is where I was so disappointed in her. Walks in the room, she don't care he jacking out the window.
It's probably some shit she sees all the time.
What? All the time? What? She did not address the elephant in the room, and he got down like he was like, oh God, Mom. But she was like, she sat there and had a calm conversation that was not about, she's so obsessed with Rhaenyra. She was like, I don't care about you jacking off. Boy, did you
right? Don't nobody give a fuck about that.
Did you do a prank with a pig on your little brother? And he was like, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you. It was like, oh God, I'm sorry, I was jacking off. She's like, no, I mean the pig prank. Why you do that? And he's like, oh, that's it. That's all. He's like, well, I hate my brother. He's a piece of shit. She's like, not in front of other people. Like, you can think he a piece of shit, but you think that
y'all have to have a united front no matter what y'all think about each other.
Right. You keep that in the house that you don't fuck with with your brother, okay? But you wrong for that shit. He was like, oh, I mean, actually, did I say I hate him? What I really meant was it was Jace's and Luke's idea. They made me do it. And I love my brother, and I had nothing to do with that prank. And then she says, listen, little nigga, when Ray takes the throne, them boys gonna be your betters. Like right now, and this is why Allison is so heavy on Ray right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, she outranks Rhaenyra.
Yes.
Until her father dies, Allison
like
outranks her.
For now.
And time is growing precious, as you can see by how old this nigga look every episode. Viserys,
I don't think he gonna make it to episode 10.
He coughing in every meeting and shit. It's bad. So like she is like, listen, it's a limited time until them boys become your masters.
Right.
Basically.
You in here fucking around.
And when he was like, so probably still had his dick in his hand. He like, so they got to do with me. Leave so I can jack off out the window. And she was like, because Ray might kill you and your brothers for challenging her succession to the throne. Now she has heard this from Otto and Larys.
Mm-hmm.
That's the two people she heard this from. And apparently over 10 years, she heard it enough. She started to believe it. That Rhaenyra's going to take the throne and kill her and her kids. Mm-hmm. And she said, he goes, well, then I won't challenge her for succession. Then she won't have to kill me. She was like, she ain't going to have a choice. The people will not accept her ruling. Mm-hmm. Now, here's something that's important that I absolutely think no one's giving Allison credit for. That is 100% true. And I don't know how many fucking times the show has to tell you this, but it's clearly going to happen because the show done said it too many times. Rhaenyra having bastard babies that everybody knows is bastards, they can't let her take that throne. No one is going to respect this woman's rule. They will, the realm will revolt. Someone will challenge her. There will be a fucking something. Like she's gonna have to shore up her position in some other kind of way because this ain't it.
Right, and rumors and shit. So they're gonna be like, these kids don't even have the right to the throne. He is somebody that's a pure heir and has the right to the throne. We reject you, and then it's gonna be a problem.
And she's already a woman.
Right.
Which, okay, fine. But then she's a woman that usurps her duty. She's a woman that's like, I'm not having no fucking royal babies. Everybody just gonna have to look at my little brown haired kids, and because I say so, they gonna be royalty. And it's like, that is literally too much. I really do believe them when they say that's too much. And the only reason that Viserys turns a blind eye to it is because it's his fucking daughter. If it wasn't his daughter, he'd be like, you better get the fuck out of my face. No, you can't rule. You don't even want to do the job.
Right.
Like, why do you want this job that you refuse to do any part of this goddamn job?
Right. Now it'd have been different if they would have kept their deal and her and her husband would have had sex and had
I'm
kids,
like, there's
right?
mitigating factors to where, like, if she would have had 3 Valerian Targaryen babies, there's a better chance that people go, we'll suffer this bitch, and then her son will get the crown, and then we'll move on or something. Right. It's a show. You can write it how you want, so they could have written. But my point being, like, as a realm, she is not just that she's a woman. She's a woman, and she really don't give a fuck about ruling in that kind of way. Nope. Like that she's gonna play this game.
Nope. It sounds like she's gonna take the throne, so it's gonna be a problem. And
it's not take. They're giving her the throne. I mean,
they're giving her the throne, but when she gets the throne, she's gonna do whatever she can to keep it.
There will be a ton of pressure on her, and Allison does not feel like she wants to risk
her family's safety,
Rhaenyra being on the throne, because she feels like, especially after these fucking bastard babies, she won't have a choice but to make sure there are no other options to the throne to justify the realm supposedly supporting her. You see what I'm saying? Like, because as long as they have hope, they're gonna be like, no, kill this bitch and then put so-and-so on the throne. And then, so, like, we don't respect you. We not paying our tribute. We not doing all this. We going to, other people want to go to war with you.
Unless you're going to pull a Cersei and just take everybody out.
So I was kind of surprised that not enough people understood that point. Because I don't think that's a small thing in this world. Even if you think it's a small thing in your 2022 sensibilities, I think it's not a small thing in the realm they built. Anyway.
Correct.
So she takes her son Aegon by the cheeks like that little fat kid in Billy Madison.
Hold hold his face like, I'm serious. I'm a serious mom now.
She's like, you are the challenge, Aegon. Simply by living and breathing, you're the firstborn son, and everyone knows you gonna be the real king. Now get dressed and stop jacking off.
I don't know. Pull your dick out your hand.
Yeah, take your dick out your goddamn hand. And she leaves. In the courtyard, the kids are practicing, the boys. They're all practicing swords under the instruction of Ser Criston. Now, Ser Criston is Alicent's confidant. He's her official Secret Service guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed a gay person. He's committed a hate crime at a wedding. Like this man has picked a side.
Yes, he has.
So he's like teaching Alicent's kids.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like he's like Viserys and Lionel Strong are looking on from like looking down on the courtyard, and like he's actually like Ser Criston is like bend your knees, swing from the hips, when
Your
it comes
feet too
to
heavy. Yeah.
when it's the king and Alicent's son. But then when it's Rhaenyra and Laenor in quotes / not in quotes Ser Harwin Breakbacks, when it is their kid, he just like, y'all got it.
And it don't sound like they want to learn from him anyway.
Well, I mean, would you want to learn from him if he wasn't teaching you? I mean, I feel like that's his fault.
Okay. I see. We say like he's not actually teaching, so they out there just winging it.
Because he like good enough. Bye. Anyway,
right.
Bend your wrist.
Right, because he's not actually doing his job.
Follow
right?
through, son. Then the other kid get up there. He's like, good job. Whatever. And so
out there wailing and failing.
Now keep in mind, these are Ser Harwin Breakbacks' real kids.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes over and starts watching. And Viserys is in such denial. He's like, isn't it good? The kids are all playing together. That's how they beat strong bonds. I remember I used to spar as a youth. And Aegon, I noticed, the one that jacked off out the window,
mm-hmm.
some like handmaidens walked by, and he looked at him so creepy. He tried to be real sweet with his sword moves and turn around to see if they saw it. And they didn't look like shy, like, oh, they looked away like, oh God, not him.
Right, because he looks creepy.
Yeah, like, jack off, boy. We don't need, I definitely don't need that boy coming over. Like, he must be a fucking menace in that castle. Who knows what he's getting up to? And then Ser Criston spars with Aegon and Aemon because he's teaching them. Now he's flexing on them and all that stuff, but the point being, he don't even let the other kids spar with him. And Ser Harwin Breakbone, real father, goes, hey, what kind of teaching method you doing? You're not teaching all the kids, you only teaching the king's kids? And Ser Criston's like, hey niggas, my class, I teach how I want to teach. And he's like, nah, man, teach them all or don't. And he says, okay, you know what? Fine. I'm teach these kids. Okay. The eldest boy, Aegon, versus the eldest of Rhaenyra's kids, Jace. Now, Jace is like fucking 10.
Right.
Aegon's like fucking 15.
That's a big age gap.
So he immediately starts beating his ass. Like, Aegon's winning and he's gloating and shit. And then Jace gets up after being pushed down, and he attacks Aegon with such fury that Aegon ends up falling down, and then he pushes a dummy between them, which is cheating. And they had to, and Harwin's like, that's what you teach him. And then Kristen's like, I'll talk to him, don't worry about it. And then they both kind of go to their respective corners. They're fighting through their sons. Harwin is talking to his son, like, listen, you do this and you do that. And Ser Criston is talking through Alicent's sons, which isn't his, but like, he's on her side, and he's like, listen, you do this, you do this. So now Aegon comes back out that corner. Aegon is beating the shit out of Jace. He's winning the fight. He's got him on his back, and Criston is literally instructing this kid to like beat the shit, like no mercy.
Right, just relentless.
Sweep the leg.
Like, but they're kids,
right?
It's like Daniel's son. You're like, how do we get here?
Put him in a body bag, that kind of shit. And so then fucking Ser Harwin Breakbacks is like, hey, this is how you teach the kids to play with deflated footballs and shit? What kind of cheating bullshit is this?
What kind of racket you running here, sir?
And Sir Christian is like, you forget yourself. And I'm like, nigga, didn't you kill somebody at a wedding? Didn't you forget yourself?
Right.
But apparently, being in the fucking King's Guard is a fucking lifetime immunity. You can just kill a nigga for no reason at a wedding and nobody says shit.
Nobody gives a damn.
You know?
It's a lifetime appointment.
So then Sir Christian starts talking that sneaky shit and says, oh, you care about these kids a little too much. Like they your kids.
That was the setup.
Like you they daddy or something.
Right. Why you care so much about what the fuck I'm doing?
And Ser Harwin Breakbacks beats the shit out of Sir Christian. Beats his ass. But Sir Christian is letting him beat his ass.
Yes.
Like it wasn't like Sir Christian was really putting up a fight. He was letting him beat his ass until they pulled him off of him. Unlike the wedding, where they could have pulled Sir Christian off of that off of Lenore, I guess.
They just let him go to town.
Right. But anyway, so they pull Harwin Breakbones off of him, and he's committed a huge infraction because he's beating up a Knight of the King's Guard, attacked them. That's like some real like you can't do that type shit.
Right.
Even being in charge of the Night's Watch, you can't do that.
Right.
So then he goes, Sir Harwin's Sir Christian's laying on his back, and he goes, I thought so. So he did all that to make this dude react to his trolling to prove you are them babies' daddies. Okay. The DNA test came back, and the results say you are the father.
You're the father.
And then he ran all the way to the back, and Maury chased him with the cameras. It was a lot.
And it was one of them things. He did everything with short of. That's why they take that job. Because he literally took the job that Rhaenyra wanted him to do that, and he was like, I can't do that.
The king of he was gonna be the head of the Night's Watch.
No.
Which job?
Sir Christian would have been in Sir Breakbone because she likes to fuck the help.
Oh well. So okay, not exactly. Here's why. So I think she would have kept him as part of the position that Christian's in now, which is the King's Guard. Those are the Secret Service. What Ser Harwin Breakbone does is the old job that Damien used to have. He runs the police force.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Which is another reason it was very conspicuous that he was always with Rhaenyra. That's not even his job.
Okay, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
She's so uncareful. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all, you too hard. I just said Allison moved stupid and deserved one. So I just don't have a favorite because I feel like all these people have something stupid about them.
Right.
And Rhaenyra moves so reckless. It's just not, it's not careful. And it's like she has no respect for the fact that people's opinions are going to matter at some point.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, he's now everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to be a rumor.
Right,
everyone's going to
made a big ass scene out of it.
Everyone's going to assume he the real. That's that baby's pappy.
Right.
Okay?
That's why ain't none of these kids got no silver hair or white hair.
So they one of the handmaids runs up in Ray's room like, girl, you ain't gonna believe this. It's going down.
Girl, you been online.
Yeah. You been on Twitter? And she's like, no, I ain't been on Twitter all day.
You ain't see your feed?
Yeah, they tagging you, girl. They tagging you.
You ain't see all the likes and retweets, girl.
You trending right now.
And not in a good way, girl.
Right. And so she found out she was trending. She goes to visit Harwin Breakbones up in wherever he stay. But when she gets there, he's already in a fight with his daddy, Lionel Strong. And she eavesdrops the argument without any of them seeing each other.
Right, because she learned from Damien. She learned all them back cuts.
I guess so. But this is how the argument went. Okay, this is how the argument went. Lionel was like, nigga, I know you did not just confirm to the world that them your fucking kids.
Right.
And he's like, you done embarrassed us so much. You done fucked up the whole house.
Because he is a man of honor too.
Lionel is for sure. But then Harwin tried to act stupid, like, I mean, they kicked me out the Night's Watch. I mean, it's embarrassing, but I mean, what else do it? And Lionel's like, you know what the fuck I mean, Harwin? Talking about you fucking the princess, nigga. Everybody know that you been fucking her, and you know what the offense is exile and death for you and for her and for her children. Now, I just want y'all to understand something, because I feel like people have been playing this shit too light for weeks now. And I've been pointing out, ain't no motherfucking parole in Westeros. Everything is death, torture, castration. It's all fucked up shit.
Everything is to the extreme.
So when people say shit like, I just can't believe Sir Christian couldn't be cool about it. Like, he wasn't scared on some like, my feelings are hurt. I've never been in love. He was like, bitch, I could die.
Right. I don't want to die fucking with you.
Like, why are you so reckless?
Right. And I told you no.
Like, you literally will fuck my whole life up, and I don't, like, I'm gonna be dead. They're gonna cut my balls off and then kill me.
And you not give a fuck.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So that's, not that justifies how fucked up he's gotten, but that starting point seems to matter. Like, even the way she's acting, they didn't just say, oh, it'll be exile and death for just him. It's like for her too. Like, now we know that Viserys will probably never get that order, but would Alicent? Would the people respect her? Would she be able to be in the streets again? Like,
nope.
I don't know, man. It just sounds bad. But then Ser Harwin was like, it's just a rumor. Motherfuckers be talking. And he goes, people have eyes, boy. They are, by the way, I wish they had like Joe Morton from Scandal be his daddy. I am the hell in the high water. I feel like he would have delivered the speech a little better. Lionel did good for a white daddy, but this felt like a black daddy speech when he started putting that boy out there. That felt like Joe. People have eyes, boy. They're talking about suspending you for a year from the team. Okay, because you can't keep your dick in your pants.
Right.
You cheated on Nia Long. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a different scandal. My bad.
Different type of scandal.
But he said the king won't accept that what his eyes can see. So the only thing saving your ass is that the king is in such denial. He won't admit them ain't her fucking kids and that they obviously your kids. And if it was anybody else but him, you would be dead already. But he said you're just being saved by the willful blindness that a father has towards his child. And this nigga Harwin had the nerve to be like, I wish my daddy would practice some blindness, dad. And he said, Lionel was like, nigga, I've been practicing blindness. This your third baby.
Right. How much more blindness can I do?
I've been blind for 10 years until you whoop this nigga ass in front of everybody. Now I can't be. And then he says, well, you have your honor and I have mine. And I do have to say, that is a great fucking line. Harwin is a real one for that. Because what he really was saying was, your honor is caught up in all the kings and how they look at you. My honor is this. You're not going to disrespect my son in my motherfucking face, nigga. Even if that's not supposed to be my son. We both know that's my son. And Sir Christian is a bitch for talking to my son like that. So yeah, I whooped his ass. And I have to respect it. It's stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
and I do it again.
Like you probably signed your death sentence at that moment, but low key, I respect the fact that he was like, but nah, this ain't happening. So Ray goes back to her room with them not seeing her.
Yeah, because she looked all shocked and horrified. It was like, well, bitch, what you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It was so stupid. But yeah, so Ray goes back to her room and she's up in there, all fucking, contemplating the melancholy, like, oh shit, it's all fucked up now. And you didn't know this was gonna be fucked up, Ray? Ray, you can't be like,
how stupid are you?
She was so stressed, Now keep in mind, of course, Laenor don't know all this happened. He been off of Twitter too. He been out all day partying and shit. So he come down the hall.
He ain't check Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. He ain't check nothing. He put his phone down and said, fuck it.
He come down the hall with his buddy Carl, and you can hear them singing all the way down the hall. He just come in the room like, hey,
how everybody doing?
Hey, you won't break my soul.
Hey,
why you so sad in here?
What's happening in the room?
He's like, girl, I fell down, but guess who dicked me up? Carl. Well, Carl, go ahead and say hey to everybody. Y'all know Carl. And then
I know she's trying to have a conversation. She's like, unique. He over there partying and shit.
She's like thick, extra. But then she was like, I'm not in the mood for all this shit. We need to talk. And he's like, oh, it must be them titties filling up with milk. You know how it is, Carl.
I mean?
You see the way the titties work, because we don't know. We don't fuck with them. They fill up with milk after the pregnancy, and then they make you mad. And she was like, Carl, get the fuck out. And Leno was like, all right, then. All right, Carl, I'll holler at you. She don't feel like talking today. So he sits down, drunk on the couch, and he like, girl, guess what? You ain't gonna believe this. The triarchy is back. It's a war afoot, and you know I likes to fight. I can't wait to go to war. Okay, I'm gonna hop on a boat, and I'm gonna be getting on my dragon, and I'm gonna fuck some people up. Oh, it's been so long since I fucked somebody up, girl. Oh, it's crazy.
Because the thing, because he used to boats and shit. He's like, I've been on this fucking dry land.
Well, he fought that war. He's the one with the dragon that burned on him. Like he's about this life, and he's like, oh, girl, I heard it's a Tyroshi general. He a giant, dyes his beard purple, and wears women frocks. Can't wait to whoop his ass.
Oh, like one.
Can't wait. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be at sea for a few months, and then I'll come back and check on how things are going. But anyway, you good? Everything good with you?
She was like, you not doing that.
She's like, are you mad? Have you lost your motherfucking mind? He's like, what are you talking about? She's like, vicious rumors swirl about, questioning our children's parentage, vile insinuations. He was like, insinuations? Is that what we doing?
That's what we doing now. We know them ain't my kids.
Is it a hidden camera in here or something, girl? Why you talking crazy like this? You know them ain't our baby. That's your kid. You just told me this morning. And she was like, no, you they true father. He's like, as long as Maury don't got that lie detector test, sure. She was like, they're our sons, yours and mine. And as their true father, you will not go out at sea waggling your sword and winking at sailors. I was like, wow, she hit the gay stereotypes even back then, huh? Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's like, I'm a knight and a warrior, and I done played my part for 10 years, and I am old. She said, you ain't old shit. Now look, I know we had a deal, but all you've been doing is spending money and fucking dues, and that was our agreement. I'm not reneging.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't even mad at you.
But now that the fucking hounds is at the door, the storm is lashing.
We can't be doing this no more.
You can't just desert your post and go fight an army and leave me by myself. You got to stay. And she says, don't desert your post as the storm lashes. He says, well, a wise sailor flees the storm as it gathers. And she says, listen here, as your motherfucking princess to the crown, I officially command you to stay with me through this whole shit. You can't leave.
Right, because we in this shit together, nigga.
And he just leans back and sips his drink and like,
I know, I ain't crying.
And later at a conference meeting, Ray and Allison are sitting at the table. And there's some more people that I don't know. It's a black dude with a bald head sitting there. I don't know. He didn't look like a Valerian.
We got new people on the council. Everybody got their little balls. Everybody clocked in.
Beesbury is still there. Of course, Lionel Strong is there. And Lionel, by the way, the 10 years hit him hard. He had the receding cul-de-sac hairline. Mm-hmm. He had that George Jefferson. The roof was open. But like, I know Beesbury was there. But I mean, Allison has a role. Of course, the king is there. Mm-hmm. Allison is sitting at the table. So is Ray. So they have roles at this table now. Mm-hmm. This is not a sausage fest anymore. Mm-hmm. And so the whole thing is so y'all remember during the dating game when people were supposed to be courting Ray there for her hand, mm-hmm. and then that kid killed that other dude. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently that started the beef, or it kept the beef going, because these niggas is fighting about some land. It's like these niggas took some horses onto their land and grazed, and now they want to fight. They want to start a war. And the local like motherfucking person that's supposed to be in charge, they ain't really doing shit. And so Allison basically interrupts like, and that's not our business. And Ray Narrow's like, yes, it is our business. Why don't we just ask some country folk where the border lines are, and we just enforce that shit? And Allison sipped her wine like this bitch.
It's like anything they say, the other person does the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's so petty at this
It
point.
is.
Like the whole vibe is,
Bitch, get out of my face.
you know,
You know, bitch.
the
And they
whole
probably
vibe.
like this every goddamn meeting too.
Every fucking time. And so Allison is just like, this bitch. And so then Tyler Lannister is like, what about the Stepstones? And Lord Beesbury is like, I think the Blackwoods have the upper hand. And the black dude leaned over like, we on page 7, baby. Turn to page 7. We talked about that on page 6. And he's like, oh, okay, my bad. Damn, I was asleep. So I don't know if like they about to hint at Lord Beesbury being bored or having mental health problems or something. I don't know.
Something happening.
But he was a little slow. So then they bring up the Triarchy is coming back. The Stepstones ain't been defended. And the black dude like, where Damon at? I thought that was your man's. And he's supposed to be king of the narrow seas. Want to take his narrow ass over there and stop this battle. And Allison
got jokes.
Allison was like, that was 10 years ago. He left the region undefended. And Ray said, no, we left the region undefended because he came and bowed the knee to us and we decided not to do shit. We should have built that wall. And Allison said, we can't afford to build that wall. And Ray says, the cost of going to war is more than building that motherfucking wall would have did. And so now the old monster has lifted his head. And Allison says, well, if that's everything, that's the meeting. Bye, everybody. And Ray said, stop. Everybody sit back down. And everybody sat down, but her and Allison, they were standing.
She was like, bitch, what I'm not going to do is sit down.
The disrespect.
Come on.
Okay. Oh, my God. The show is starting, y'all. This is my favorite part. Okay.
Yeah, it's like literally everybody else sit down, but she's like, I'm not sitting down.
You know how Allison was thinking.
Hey, girl. I just wanted to let you girls know that I'm a real messy bitch. I'm a messy bitch who lives for drama.
Okay. And so she goes, Ray humbles herself and says, listen, we've been fighting a lot lately. Everybody see it. Now, the other motivation is everybody in the realm is talking about Ser Harwin is the real fathers.
Mm-hmm. And she knows.
And them motherfucking babies is bastards and shouldn't be on the throne. Mm-mm. So she is actually cornered in this point. Like she does not have a lot of moves left. Mm-mm. And of course, this is the only reason she starts thinking even a tad bit strategically, which is, hey, what if we combine our houses? Okay, Allison, you said some things. I said some things. Things were said. It's crazy. But we need to end it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's funny to me too. Okay, there's no need for us to be having fights about this. Okay,
man, look, I hear you. It's funny to me too. I mean, it's strange. It's strange to me too.
Yeah, like her apology felt like this.
I'm open to the conversation. I think it.
Oh, that's just the best.
It really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
So she says, all right, we need to be cool. Okay. Like this is going on too much. We one house. Let's marry our kids. Mm-hmm. My oldest son and your daughter should get married. Helena and Jace. And if Cyrax has some more eggs, we'll give your son first choice, the one that ain't got no dragon. So then everybody have what they want. But then Ray's breast started to leak in the middle of her speech. And she had to sit down. Allison was like, your titty's leaking. She was like, oh no. And then she sat down. And then Viserys is like, oh, cool. We a family again. Everybody getting along. So Allison, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like a good idea. Ray, well done. Can we finally stop acting like motherfucking babies?
Allison like noted.
Right. Allison was not, she didn't want to hear that shit. She was like, nah, I don't.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
No.
That was Allison. And she said, meeting over, like I said. So everybody, the king needs his rest. It's time to go to bed, baby. And he's like, it's only 2 PM. She's like, I know, baby. I know. You an old man. Have some juice, honey. And on the walk On the walk to Viserys' room, Allison is like, ain't no motherfucking way. Okay, because King is like, oh, it's y'all finally we can get back to being a family again, put this childish messes behind us. And then Allison is like,
that he lied, and his response.
No, she ain't doing it. She said, over my motherfucking dead body. Only reason she want to marry them kids because she cornered and she done fucked up. And now everybody in the realm know them ain't the motherfucking Laenor babies. And she expect me to marry my only daughter off to her plain featured sons. Now listen, I know y'all hate Allison. Plain featured is working into my vocabulary. I don't think I'm calling people ugly no more. Plain featured though, it hits different and I like it. She said her, and she paused too because she wanted to be like, oh, bastard son. She was like, oh, plain featured, meaning not that gold hair, not that silver.
Plain featured son. Oh, and I don't know if you talked about this or not. I don't know if this is something that you picked up on when to go back. Well, I can wait to the end of mine.
You sure?
Oh, I was gonna say, Sir Christian. You know, because we had talked about how he called her a cunt. He disrespected her so bad that when her and her husband was leaving, after she had met Allison, Sir Christian turned his back at the door. I don't know if you realize that. Like he was on the side. He wouldn't even face her. He literally turned his back to her.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that or not, but
it makes sense.
I picture that because literally everybody else turns towards them and bow and kind of honors them, and so that right there showed you the disdain that he has. That even though he knows as his job, he's literally supposed to honor her, which he did before, but because she broke that trust, he don't even honor her. He literally turned his back to her, which is almost like the largest form of disrespect.
So then, first of all, Allison, calm yourself. Your daughter is a bug girl.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
okay,
she liked the bugs.
And secondly, it's not about peace anymore for Allison. It's about dominance.
Correct.
She fully wants the throne for her child.
Yes.
That's the only way she feels she'll be protected. So yeah. So Kristen is walking behind them, probably trying not to laugh and smile. And Viserys says, "We're a family. Let's put it aside." And she's like, "You may do as you wish, husband, when I am cold in my grave." And then she said, "Hell no." And so they get up to his room and he sits down on the chair, all old and shit, like, creaking. And then she's like, put some blankets over him and some pillows. He's like, "I don't need pillows." "Oh, this is lovely. Thank you for the pillow." And then the hand of the king, Lionel Strong, comes up. He's Ser Harwin Breakbacks daddy. And he's like, "I need to talk to the king." And Allison said, "He rested." And Viserys says, "I'll see him." "Oh, you see how she be fussing over me, man? Go ahead. What's going on?" And Lionel was like, "I need to tender my resignation. I resign." And the king was like, "For why, my nigga?" And Harwin was like, "Cause I'm embarrassed that my son beat up Cole in the brickyard. He shouldn't have beat up Kristen Cole. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
Like that's a problem. He basically attacked your King's Guard. This is not a good thing.
Wink, wink, meaning that's not what it was about at all.
Right.
But that's what he kept saying it was. Oh, the and so Viserys like, we already stripped him of his rank in the Night Watch. That's enough. Like, what else? Unless it's something you're not saying. And Lionel's like, but it's not enough. And he just been really out of pocket, and it's embarrassing to my family, and I can't keep this job because I can't give you good advice.
Right.
And Viserys like, but you done gave me the best advice. You don't care about being on the throne. You're not trying to angle for power for your house.
He's a man of honor.
Yeah, and that's why the king wants him. And he goes, "I can't be honorable knowing what I know and then just moving on like nothing happened." The king's like, "What do you know? Tell me what is happening." And Lionel's like, "My son has compromised me." And then Allison's like, "Yeah, how did he compromise you? Maybe he'll listen to you." And she's right. If Lionel goes, "Them ain't her kids. Your daughter got some break baby bastards all over the place," Viserys would listen to him. Now, that being said, Viserys might also go, "I believe you. I'm still finna fight on this lie. Your ass is now kicked out to the oblivion where Otto is. I don't know."
Right. And so that's one reason why he's like, "I'd rather just step down. Like, let me go ahead and step down from my position Because this is how the last nigga lost his job, by telling you the truth.
Yeah, and he's like, and he's being like, you know, he's a believer in honor and shit, but he also is being truthful and like, I'm not gonna do anything that would get my son fucked up. So I would literally be on here compromising I wouldn't be telling you what the best decisions are. I'll be telling you what the best decisions are to not get my grandsons killed.
Right.
You know, because someone said, what's this got to do with honor? Everything. Them his grandsons. And he know that now. So yeah, he gonna be on that side. Like, yeah, it definitely, that dude had integrity and he won't have it anymore.
Nope.
But because he wouldn't say what it was, the king goes, I decline your resignation.
Yeah, say it with your chest.
See you at work Monday. And Lionel said, well, then can I at least take my son back to Harrenhal? Let me just get this nigga back to the homestead, out of the King's Landing, so I can try to
worry about his safety.
Yeah, I'll try to, you know, do my job without him here at least. And Viserys said, say less. Alicent was pressed and incredulous. Mad as hell this man didn't say nothing about them babies. Meanwhile, like, if he would have said something probably damning his grandkids to death, possibly. So of course he didn't say that. He's not that cold-blooded, but
right. And something about in chat, which I think possibilities about he might not have came back. Like, he might have just left and not came back. But I think Viserys would have made him come back.
I think he was planning to come back. Because he's a man of honor. I just don't think.
Okay.
I think maybe if that was a different character, but the way he moves, I believe
He would have kept his word. Yeah.
Lionel's word. Like, if Lionel says I'm gonna come back, he gonna come back. So anyway, Larys deduces. Oh, I'm sorry. So then she's mad. Alicent leaves the room without even fixing more pillows for the king. You're like, well, can I get another pillow? She's like, nigga, you said you didn't want no pillows. Get yourself. Bye.
Right? She was like, nope, fuck you.
Because she almost got the one cosign she needed. So then on her way to her room, a maid kind of laughs behind her back, I noticed. Like, she makes eye contact. Like, they're not allowed to make eye contact with the queen. So she didn't. She bowed her head. But when the queen walked past her, there's a little bit of a chuckle on her face. Like, haha, this bitch mad. And then Alicent goes into her room. Larys in there eating all the good food, drinking all her good wine. Now, y'all remember Larys.
Who allowed you in here?
Larys is the dude with the cane, the little foot, long foot, you know, scheming motherfucker.
Talking to her with at the flowers.
We find out a couple things in this scene. One, they have dinner all the time. And he normally gives her the tea at dinner. And she informs him, he's like, but you got some tea this time because I heard your daddy met with the king, but I don't know what was said. And she was like, yeah, he tried to resign. And he was like, yep, that's what I thought. And she said, yeah, but my dad didn't let him resign. He's like, what? Oh, so that means he didn't tell your dad about them little bastard children that right now got. And Alice is like, yep, he ain't tell her. And a woman comes in like, got fresh towels, your queen. And Alice is like, get the fuck out. She's like, oh, my bad. And then she leaves. And then Larys says, well, you can understand why the king wouldn't go after his own child. And Allison's like, I go after my own child, and I don't fucking believe you. You've ignored jacking off in your face today. I don't think you compromise as well with your own kids. Them little niggas don't need to be on the throne either. So then she's like, Larys is like, well, no, my dad can't give unbiased advice to the king. And yeah, I'm sorry. And then this is when she's like, well, I wouldn't do it for my kids. And he's like, okay. Meanwhile, we saw your son jacking off in the window that Tommen did the Tom Petty free falling from. So,
right, probably the same window.
Yeah. So she was like, I miss my daddy because he wouldn't have hesitated to speak the truth. Now that's kind of true because that's how Otto got fired. But Larys says, yeah, but your dad wouldn't be impartial either because he'd be part. And then she goes, no, but he'd be partial to me. And I said, oh, she want the power. She want to win.
So don't you think that you would feel the same about your kids? Like, what's the fucking difference?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing I keep thinking. Alicent, and this is so funny considering how Black Twitter talks about Alicent. Alicent reminds me so much of Black Twitter. She is so petty. She's team petty. I'm shocked that these niggas don't like her. They act just like her.
Oh, she is Team Petty.
Like, if you haven't moved on from hating Aquafina, you Allison. You know what I mean? Like, if some celebrity that fucked up did and apologized and you ain't accepted, you Team Allison. Y'all move the same, holding on to some old shit.
Still mad at Taylor Swift
forever. Aligning yourself with other petty, terrible motherfuckers and being like, we in a group now. That's exactly what she went and did. Lyris cannot be trusted. He just another fucking person that's keeping you in a negative cycle. Kristen, another hurt motherfucker. Hurt people group up and hurt people together.
Yes, they do.
So anyway, she's like, no one's taking my side. And then he sips on his drink and doesn't say anything, just looks at her like, what's understood don't need to be said. And I said, okay, all right. He knew to shut up. Wrong. This nigga goes down into the dungeon. Woo. Rolls up on a room full of prisoners, a cell full of them. He's like, oh, murderers and people that betrayed the throne and all this shit. Y'all know y'all sentenced to death, right? And they take the time to show he got a bumblebee emblem on his cane that they haven't really shown us before. And this nigga has a glow in his face and his eyes that, like, I'm about to get up to some devilment because I'm the goddamn devil. Hello, it's my time to shine. And he
did.
He says, y'all been sentenced to death. And they're like, what do you want from us, my lord? And he said, I'm prepared to offer you mercy if you're willing to pay the price. And the price was burning your motherfucking tongue out your mouth.
So you can't talk.
With a hot blade, they cut these niggas' tongues out their mouth.
They cut their tongues out so you can't talk. So even if you get captured, you can't say a thing.
So what? So anyway, so he does that to these people. Then we see Ser Harwin say goodbye to Laenor, his kids, and he's like, "I'm gonna be visiting y'all," and they all wondering like, "Why is the king, the head of the Night Watch, so emotional about
so sad
about having to leave town
like,
and not see the princess again?"
Yeah, by the time I come back, you won't even recognize me.
Yeah.
And
your dear old damn Night Watch king.
Person.
Right. It's like, when you see me next, I'll no longer be your father. I go in life. Things continue to happen. So yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna miss y'all. He kissed the baby on the forehead. And Rhaenyra she's trying to avoid eye contact with him, but it's just obvious what's happening. Unless her kids are complete fucking idiots. Like, it's just very little subterfuge is happening right now. And of course he leaves. Jace runs into the hallway to see Harwin leave. And then Ray says, well, don't worry, we'll exchange letters by Raven. Won't that be fun? And Jace is like, is that nigga my daddy?
Right, I'm not stupid.
And she goes, oh, what?
She looked like he looked like I look just like him.
Yeah, am I a bastard? And she was like, oh, you a Targaryen. And that's all that matters. He's like, so yes, then, damn. And then in the courtyard, because after the baby realizes, after the kid realizes, I think Rhaenyra knows the jig is up. They gotta get the fuck out of town.
Yep, because children talk.
And like the Harwin's leaving. Everybody know the kid can't keep a secret. So she's like, all right, we gotta go. We can't even hide this from the fucking kids. We gotta go. So she goes down, tells Laenor and Carl.
And that's her fault.
Yeah. Tells Laenor and Carl, hey, we gotta go. Pack up your side dick and we gotta go.
Right. He was like, but I don't want to leave. She was like, look. Pack him too. Put him in the carry-on luggage. I don't give a fuck. We got to leave.
And so Laenor is like, but what about your proposal to Alicent to combine houses? She's like, Alicent said, hell no to that shit.
She knew that was a no.
So we going to Dragonstone. So they go on to Dragonstone, and he says, but you said if you leave, Alicent will take the crown. She'll drip honey into your father's ear and take the throne for herself. And she turns to him and says, the wise sailor flees the storm as it gathers, which is what he told her earlier. So I guess maybe she learned something today.
She was like, I don't want to be here when all shit hits the fan.
Harwin and Lionel arrive at Harrenhal. The same prisoners with no tongues from earlier watched them from like the woods with cloaks on, looking like they about to do some dirt, and now they all got B pins on their cloaks.
Come on, with the B clan.
Yeah, well, I think they in the hive now, you know.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess.
That's how they look from the side. I can feel that music playing. I said, some people finna die. And they're watching Harwin and them go up into the Harren Hall. And so they end up we see later Lionel is sleeping and Harwin is banging on the door, and the whole thing is burning up around them. And Harwin's like, I'll burn. He's like banging on the door, and we never really see them burn. So later on, when we see that like there's dead bodies, there's skeletons and all this stuff, I'm not really one of these people that like nobody no death, but I wouldn't put it past them to make some type of trickery with the fact we did not see these dudes die.
Right.
So like if one or two of them somehow are alive or they escaped or they cover, I wouldn't necessarily be too shocked, just because normally when they, this show will show somebody's fucking eye popping out the socket. When they want to kill you, they just show you got killed.
Yeah, we saw dick get cut, so yes.
Yeah, so they didn't like show us a face. They didn't, from what I could tell, I didn't see like a distinguishing characteristic or something to be like, oh, he had a hook for a hand. That's clearly Harwin. So I actually don't know what happened. But the show is playing it as if everyone's assuming they're dead, and so we'll see. I don't know. So then and don't write in if you know if it's a spoiler. We don't want to know. We'll let us be shocked or not shocked. So then we get this like montage, Harren Hall burning, Ray and her crew pulling up at Dragonstone, Viserys in his room looking at his old wife's wedding ring, crying, sipping on brandy. A rat crawls on this fireplace mantle.
They love them rats.
The Beehive tongueless boys look over their handiwork and then disappear behind a closed door like ninjas.
They threw a smoke bomb.
Yeah, and then they look like the Akatsuki.
Right.
Then Damon is at the castle wall with his daughters crying and looking up them YouTube hair tutorials. And then this is when I said Thrones is back. This is my favorite part of this whole show. We get this voiceover during all this montage, and it's, what are children but a weakness, a folly, a futility? Through them you imagine you cheat the great darkness of his victory. You will persist forever in some form or another, as if they will keep you from the dust, but for them you surrender what you should not. You may not know what is the right thing to be done, but love stays the hand. Love is a downfall. Best to make your way through life unencumbered, if you ask me. And it's Larys talking to Alicent. And it's Alicent realizing this nigga killed his daddy and his brother based off of that say less when he sipped that wine. She didn't think he was she thought, I'm just bitching the way I be bitching to Sir Kristen.
Right.
Larys was out here like, throw mama from the train, like, oh, I see what you're saying. It's like, so kill him.
Right. And she was like, that's not what I wanted. I didn't ask you to do this.
Look, because I didn't know that Larys got down like this either. I didn't know. This is Game of Thrones. This is it.
It's like, we back. You playing now.
First of all, what he said was bars.
Yes.
Number one, just on his own. George R. R. Martin, you wrote that shit.
Yes, sir.
But then on top of that, the whole like, oh, he a do dirt nigga, and he to me wins the week because she's so deep in it, she can't even rat him out like, yo, this man killed such and such.
She been talking to him for fucking 10 years.
We murdered them.
Ain't no telling what she done told him over the years.
And then even more poetically, right? He goes, well, Harren Hall is rumored to be cursed. Lord Harren built it, blood baked into the mortar. So maybe it was the curse that killed my daddy and my brother. She said, you killed your daddy and your brother. And he was like, hey, you know me, I'll just be trying to help, the queen, whatever the queen needs, I got you. And she's like, but I didn't say do that. And he's like, I assume you want to write your father now? Because her whole thing was, I want my daddy back as hand of the king, because at least somebody will have my side. He said, you welcome. And she said, I didn't want all this. And he says, I feel certain you'll reward me when the time is right. Mm-hmm. And then this is the part that I didn't notice how I rewatched it. He's sniffing a flower. It's the same flower from the garden.
Holy
when
shit.
He told her a foreigner amongst the natives, an outsider amongst the natives. It's that flower. He got it in her room now. It's 10 years later. This nigga he's playing the game.
Yeah.
Chaos is a ladder ass nigga. Yeah. He's playing the game.
She didn't know she was playing. And he was like, well, if you don't know, now you know. You're playing the motherfucking game. And I'm going to ask for a favor, and you going to do whatever I ask for you to do.
He is so good. I don't know. I saw people trying to downplay it. Nah. Laris, like,
he going to be a problem.
Laris might be the first character on this show that I truly find fascinating. And I don't know what they going to do. And also way fucking too smart. Way too smart and too devious. Like everyone else so far seems to have a thing they wouldn't do or a level of honor. This nigga killed his family today and then gave a speech about how kids are a weakness, aka if my dad would have never had me, he'd be alive right now. God damn. Also, remember this callback from 10 years ago, Allison, with this flower? Smells delicious. We in this together, bitch. See you at the throne. Oh
yeah, because he been telling her the whole time, you need allies. I'll be your ally. And the thing is, people just thought he was so innocent because he would be sitting. I was like, you're not sitting around these women for no reason.
This man got goons that can't talk.
Yeah, because
he has thought 7 levels beyond everybody so far. I didn't even when he sat with the women at the cookout, I didn't know it could get this filthy. I thought, oh, he's gonna be a gossiping ass problem. I didn't realize he was gonna be a gossiping ass, I'll get them people killed for you problem. Nothing but respect. The little finger, now we got Littlefoot. You know that I respect it. I respect the fuck out of my man, and he impressed the shit out of me. And that was the end of the show. God damn, boy, I honestly cannot wait to see what he do next. Cause he just moving pieces around the board. He's still not on the board himself. It's like whatever happened, it's them people. Like it's Otto is back. It's it's Allison's moving up. It's Rhaenyra's gone. He orchestrated a lot of this shit. This man is dangerous in a way that I cannot wait to see what kind of machinations he comes up with.
Is he gonna be a whole ass mess?
All right, this is a long one. I told y'all it'd be long. This is over 2 hours, but these long ones where they do all the machinations, these are ones that really make you want to talk.
Yes, and this particular episode, the way it ended, I was like, you're playing the game now.
Right.
Like you thought it was cute and you thought just you going back and forth with Rhaenyra, but no, this actually is bigger than you.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week because, not to be funny, what are you going to tell your boy, Sir Christian? Because Sir Christian's still on that, I'm trying to live righteous life. And you've crossed the line that he would not have been willing to cross.
Yep. All right. What you look forward to next week?
To see what happens. And it looks like Rhaenyra and her family and Daemon and his family is going back to both of them going back to Dragonstone. They're gonna be a motherfucking problem because you're gonna have both of the families there now.
Oh, I didn't even realize they would both be at Dragonstone.
Oh, you didn't see a clip of all them together?
What in the clip of them all together, it was what I imagine to be Lana's funeral. Because they kicked the casket into the water, which I imagine is how they bury the Valerians because they're the seafaring family. And I seen everybody go. Rhaenys, Corlys, everybody were gonna be there.
Okay. And I thought, well, maybe both of the family, but
I thought they were together for the funeral. They could be at Dragonstone too. It doesn't mean you're wrong. Like maybe they both did go back to Dragonstone.
Right, because it's one thing where she's running there because she's running away, and I could see him not wanting to stay there because I think he literally wanted to stay there to protect her and protect the kids because he didn't want to play the games no more.
Maybe.
So I think
he's back once they go to this funeral.
It is going to be on and motherfucking popping.
I can't wait for the mess. This
going
show
to be good.
Listen, there's so much foulness in this show. I'm waiting for a secret family show up at the funeral. Where it just be like, who are these people?
Ooh.
It's just someone. Monday we played the game. Tuesday, like, oh shit.
Ooh, that fuck around and somebody might tell about them kids ain't hers all at the funeral out loud. You
Who knows?
never know.
I'm them babies' daddy, not. It's not Damon. I'm the baby's daddy. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't wait. Game of Thrones funeral. Let's go.
Yeah, if it's anything like the wedding, it's gonna be lit.
Yep. All right, y'all. That's it for us. We'll talk to you later. Thank you for hanging out with us this long. Thanks for all the feedback and the people live in the chat. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.